F is for friends who do stuff together. U is for you and me. N is for anywhere and any place at all. Right here on Adobe Office Hours with Andrew Hockrattle and Nick Longo. It's time for Type 101. What's up, everybody? Hi.
How's everybody doing? Happy
Hi,
Wednesday.
chat. Hopefully you're doing good. Let us know where you're watching from over in... Nick, can you point at our friends in the chat? That way, yes. Chat, you look gorgeous today. Oh my goodness. Say hi. Let us know where you're watching from and what your favorite letter is. Nick, do you have a favorite letter?
V.
Okay, mine's R. R, I think, has all the personality in a font. I always think the little leg is like a little like sexy leg, or it's like a little like stompy leg.
Or a little curly Q.
Or a little curly
I always go
Q.
for the V. I go for the V because it's the ultimate. I wish my last name started with V because I can only imagine the logos I would have had would have been so symmetrical over the years.
Yes,
but
Nick
L
Vongo.
is the worst.
Yes. Okay, so let's go ahead and hop in and start talking today. Nick, what is our topic? What are we talking about?
We wanted to go back and give you a really good deep dive into type and fonts and everything involved with typography.
Yes, and we are doing a Type 101. And Loki Artsy is saying, this is my last time attending Office Hours live. Oh no. Maybe your schedule is changing. Let us know what's going on. We love having you here. You're one of our regulars. So, and exclusive, if you are changing your schedule, next year, Office Hours is moving. We are moving to Thursdays next year. So we'll be out of Wednesdays onto Thursdays next year. So maybe you can join us on Thursdays instead.
No name change, no platform change.
No platform. We'll be right here. We actually also might be on Twitch. We may be simulcasting, a little duo. So let's go ahead and hop in and talk about typography. We have a ton of things to show you today, and we're going to show you tips, tricks, hacks, a little bit of information about type, a whole bunch of snippets. If you have any questions about typography, if you're working on a project, have questions about lettering, any of that stuff, let us know over in the chat, or if you're watching the replay, let us know down in the comments. I'll be there looking after the show and answer your questions if you have any. Loki Artsy saying, I'm moving out of the country. Goodbye. Thank you so much for joining us. Safe travels. Hopefully you'll pop in now and then and say hi to us. And yes, Thursdays, we'll be winding down the week for us. All right. So let's go ahead and hop in here, Nick. What do you got over on your screen? I was waiting for you to make the transition and then realize that I'm in control of everything. I have to do that. It's not like I haven't been doing this for 3 years. Gosh. All right.
Maybe one day AI will allow that, but not
one
today.
day. Hopefully AI just does this show for us because, oh boy. All right, Nick, let's go ahead and hop in. Talk to me about the anatomy of typography. There is a lot going on here to help understand. Before we hop into actual terms, why is it important to understand this?
Well, first of all, I think it's a communication tool that we're going to use every single day. And I think if you look at the anatomy of typography, there are reasons for these things. And it's all about hierarchy and getting your attention and readability and all of that good stuff, but still having personality, right?
Yes,
so
absolutely.
A font like this if you want to add personality to it, there are some rules that have to be there. And I think that's why you see these, and everything you see here in the anatomy of typography is in every font, regardless of how wild or even how plain and simple it is. It's
yes, and this is something that doesn't just like exist within the design world. This is something that has been tracked through history. So if you have time, if you want to watch online, find a little course about the history of typography, because it'll go all back to hieroglyphics, and then we'll go to cuneiform, and then we'll start going to like Roman uncials, and then we'll eventually evolve into letterpress. And so if you want to understand why letters look like this, learn a little bit about history and how they've evolved, because it's always for a purpose, right? That we have sans serif, we have serif, we have Tuscan, we have bedonoids. Those are fun ones. Bedoinoids. So there is a lot of history about typography, and it all has a reason. So let's hop in and look at some of these pieces and understand why type looks like this.
It's so great to see all these little things, particularly things like, you have your X height. That's your area that is, I've been asked that so many times when it comes to legal stuff, when you're putting on packaging or you're doing on printing, right? So those are those things where X height has to be a certain height or more for readability, for legibility. A lot of times it's even if it's being shipped internationally. So it's good to know all of these different things about it. I think this is also helpful in knowing a lot about kerning and spacing too, because if you are setting something, sometimes it just might not look that well. But it's great to see here all these little things. I love the ear. That is one of my favorite kind of parts of the anatomy here, when you have it on the R right there as well. But then I think number 1 and number 2 would have to be the area here of the descender and the ascender, right? Like that's the one that we look at the most. And it's good to just look and see where things fall, how high they go. It's neat to see too, like how circles are used as well. The counter, which is this area here in the middle of the O. The bowl is what's in the middle of the G. What about you? What are the kind of takeaways that you kind of go with here?
Yeah, so the things that I always look for, and I like to create my own fonts. If you want them, you can go to, I need to find the link. I believe that it's it's hawk. Something. There is a link that will get you that. I'll find it during so you can have my fonts for free. But I like to create my own fonts. And so I'm going to kind of show you a hands-on how I apply some of these different pieces of typography. So what I'm going to do actually is I am going to open up over on YouTube our Q&A. So if you are on Behance, this is Behance chat. Hi, hello, Behance. You can say here, you can chat here. That's great. But over on YouTube, I am going to be opening up a Q&A right here. And so when we open that up, we are open to your questions. You can put them in there. It's just an easy way for us to see them, to engage with you. So put them in there if you have any questions over on our YouTube chat. And we're just going to type in, what questions do you have? Perfect. Do you have ? Boom, start Q&A. So that's happening over on YouTube if you'd like to ask a question there. But for now, hi, Behance chat. All right, so here's how I like to create a font. And all of my Retype is I like to start with 3 basic shapes, right? All letters consist of 3 basic shapes. They are either a circle, they are either a rectangle or a square, rectangle here, or they are a triangle. And for triangles, I like to do a polygon tool, and then I just hit the down arrow, and it does 3 sides.
There you go.
So these are the kind of format of all of the letters that will happen in your alphabet. And as you start working with these, you can start bringing in some rulers and some guides. So just looking at these shapes, there are a couple things that we want to take into account. And this is where we're going to set the baseline as well as the ascender line. So if we see here, the rectangle is the same height as this circle, right? If I bring it over here, exact same height, but it looks smaller, right? And so what you need to do is you always need to have a little bit of an overhang on your typography. So I'm going to bring out some rulers, Control R, and just drag these rulers onto this rectangle. So from there, you see that it looks a little bit more on point, right? But it's not quite there. And what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to align these all to the center just because it'd be easier for demonstration. Why is my stroke not? I'm so confused, chat. All right, we're good. All right, so I'm going to align these all to the center just so we can see. So without the guides on, it looks like the circle is smaller. With the guides on, you can tell that it's not. But what we'll do is we'll just scale this up a little bit just so it has some overhang right there. And now when I turn these guides off, now these look the same size, right?
It's got to be the negative space that it's in kind of each quadrant there that the circle has. That way you're increasing the size a little bit more and the weight feels even.
Yep. So what I do is I'll just drag out extra ones right here to show this is where my overhang will go on some of those letters. I'll also draw out one that goes into the center of the object. Are my smart guides off? Smart guides are on. Why are we not locking here? Anyway, I'll lock to the center right there. There we go. And now I have all the pieces that I need for creating typography, right? So if I'm creating an A right here, I'll just bring this in and then I'll change the line weight to make sure that the line weight is the width or the weight that I want for my font, right? So we'll go A, and A here is just going to be me deleting the bottom piece. Oops, I need to lock my guides and rulers. So sorry, chat. Lock guides. Where are we? Guides and
Guides,
rulers.
lock. Guides all the way down.
Help me. There we go.
Guides,
Thank you.
Lock guides.
Lock
There
guides.
we go.
I hit hide guides. Andrew,
Oh.
pull it together. View, guides, lock guides. Got it. All I need to do is delete this bottom piece right here. And they are aligned weird, but you can play around and kind of create type. Creating an H, again, same thing. It's just a rectangle. So all we're going to do is connect these two. And you can really see that like A is a triangle, B is going to be a mix between the rectangle and the circle, C is a circle, D is a circle and a rectangle. So you can play around with all of your type. If you have those three shapes fully committed, you can create every other letter within your font.
I like the more like, there's also like the Bauhaus method too, which is kind of like they make nothing but pillars, right?
Yes.
And then the pillars construct two sides of like, let's say the D, and it's how you connect them and how you radius corner them. So I love that there's a few different ways you can have some fun with them. But speaking of the glossary and things about them, these are the basics. We know we have our serif. These are the ones that have the small kind of tails throughout each one. We have sans serif. We have our scripts. Scripts now has probably blossomed into what, 5 subcategories, if anything now.
Yes, there's a lot going on at scripts.
Right? Slab serif as well, really good as well. Then you've got obviously the two things we could talk a lot about are alignment and hierarchy. But before we even go further, this is probably one of my favorite little charts regarding once we're choosing fonts and what we love about fonts and finding personality in them as well. Your serifs are everything from traditional, respectful, reliable, comfort, right? Sans serif, stability, clean, modern. And again, there's a huge variety in any one of these. So it's not like you're so limited, but script becomes either elegant, affectionate, or creativity. One thing I always love to say on scripts is it's a signature. It feels so much more personal, right? Like to me, the handwritten versions of some of these are great. Displays could be fun, unique, expressive, zooming. That's your playground. If you are playing and you need the full punch of a personality, your display font is usually also logo font, right? Or headline font. It's never body copy. That's probably a good way to think about it. And then modern, you get this strong, progressive, and even stylish and chic. It doesn't have to be just sans serif in the modern. There are beautiful modern serif fonts as well, and scripts. So you got so many different kinds of ways to play with, and it's all about your brief, right? What do you want to do? What are you doing? A more reliable and comfortable brand? Well, then you know kind of where to go.
Totally.
You know what I mean?
And we do have a great question from chat, y'all. Here's if you've been with Office Hours for a while, you know this. Andrew is forgetful. Andrew makes promises that he sometimes doesn't follow through on. And I have talked about doing a giveaway for the last 2 office hours that we haven't done. So chat, we have a giveaway for you today. And we have a giveaway. We're going to do 2 giveaways. How about that? We'll do 3. Let's do 3 giveaways.
Why not?
Just because. All right. So here are the 3 giveaways. We have some digital resources. We'll do like a font pack from me. We also have some physical goods. We have some office hours swag. I believe we have a koozie and we have a little sketch pad, which is really fun. I like the way you called it, a sketch pad. Right? A little sketch pad. And then we also have a zine that I have. Do I have any right here? Oh, they're out. They're somewhere else. They were close to me. They're gone. We also have a zine that we made at Adobe Max that is going to be another one of our prizes. So here's how you can win, Nick.
All right. Are you bringing back Tiny Wheel?
Oh, the wheel. I do have the wheel. So chat, here's how you're going to get your entries in. You're going to ask a question over in the YouTube chat. So if you're on Behance right now, you can get over to the YouTube chat pretty easily by just clicking on the title of the video. And you can see we have a couple questions coming here. So go and ask a question on YouTube. If you ask a question, we'll answer it. And then you will get to spin. Hold on. Wait for it. Hold on. Everybody hold on. Guys. We're here together. Hold on.
We have props.
Wait for it. You will get to spin the magic wheel of prizes. The magic prize wheel, and see what you win. I'll get that ASMR
because it's all labeled with the prizes already.
We're
We are so prepared.
It's already got the prizes. We meant to do this 100%. So we'll do 3 giveaways. We'll give away fonts. We'll give away some of the Adobe swag, and then one of the copies of the Zine, which is super limited edition, actually. Nice. Mostly because we lost a bunch of copies. But we'll find them. Thanks, FedEx. All right. Let's continue on, Nick. We got more to show you and more to learn. Where do we want to go with hierarchy? So we've learned a little bit about type. Yeah. Let's learn about hierarchy and how to pair type together.
Guys, this is so important. I think I still struggle with this because you can go right into a project and be super excited about starting something, but maybe you didn't start with the foundation. And keep in mind, there's probably more complex versions of this, but I think at the most simplest term, you've got your title copy, your subtitle, subheading, and maybe paragraph copy. Now, you have a few more, right? You have captions, you have quotes, you might have small descriptive text that's really small. But in a lot of cases, if you're just doing a simple publication, a lot of people say this 3 to 4 kind of rule is probably the best. The one on the left here is the traditional, but this one on the right is one I've been using a little bit more too. I like this idea of bringing in, instead of this kind of italic version here that you see in the subtitle, why not try something unique that feels appropriate? It's still complementary to it, but it adds a little bit of that personal touch. It could be a script, it could be a handwritten one as well. And I think in digital age and the fact that everything we're seeing is on screen rather than paper, I like that it adds a little balance, right? Yep. It adds that kind of personal touch to it. So you've got a lot to consider here, but keep this in mind. I like to keep it at 4 max when it comes to this, in case you're doing something that's totally different. But the other thing we want to talk about a little bit here, I'm clicking on the Discord window. That's really good. is the font pairings. I still think this is one of those things, like there are some rules here and there are some really good things to look at. You could go here and actually use the same font. Does the font have 2 different versions in it that allow it to be complementary, right? Yep. The second version here, show a chunky font with a slim font. You know, you're kind of showing how opposites attract here. This next one is my favorite. I love the idea of tight kerning and loose kerning. That is the fastest way to create attention to the brand name, and then maybe a sub name or the tagline could be in something that's a little bit looser, and you are adding a little bit of air between the letter spacing, right? That's a great one. This one here as well.
And if you're looking, looking to pair a bunch of fonts, the greatest person that I think pairs fonts well, Bethany Heck. Are you familiar with Bethany Heck, Nick?
Yeah, I think I've seen a few of that. Yeah.
Yeah. Really so Bethany Heck does incredible work, and she has a talk that I saw that was like about how to pair 8 fonts within a system. And so it's really interesting that like we are talking about all these rules, but you can break all of these rules if you can do it understanding why you're breaking it, and if you're breaking them with tact. So everything we're telling you today, you can throw it out the window, but you need to understand why so that you can kind of break the rule intentionally.
Yeah. I think it's one of those things too, like having fun is the best part of this. Try to stick to the foundations which are great, but then how do you break out and kind of make your own? You've got decorative with more traditional. That always works as well. We've got this one using sans serif and serif together. That's the quickest way to have complementary and still look great. Maybe you have a traditional heading, but it has a more decorative body copy right below it as well. Now, this last one, this is maybe what you don't want to do. And I think the number one tip to avoid is 2 fonts that look very similar. Like if they're that close, why would you even use them, right? Like there should be some bit of a complementary vibe to this, that they work and there's some harmony, right?
Yes.
That's the best part.
Absolutely.
So you got a ton of that.
Let's go ahead and let's do our first giveaway. So chat,
go for it, dude.
What we need you to do is, if you want to enter into the giveaway, you can go over to the YouTube chat and you could submit a question. We do have a few questions here.
Let's go.
So we have a great question from Manuel Martinez that we're going to ask. And Nick, this is a great one for us to talk about.
Let's do it.
Question: is it possible to become a self-taught designer? I recently turned 33.
Okay.
Nick, any advice to Manuel?
Never say never. Of course.
Never say never.
Yes.
Of course. Yes.
Some of 100%. My favorite and most closest designer friends are completely self-taught. Some of them have even done it quite later in life. I don't think that has anything to do with it. In fact, if this is what you want to do, oh my gosh, with Adobe Live, with other things online, there are so many different ways you can learn. And as long as your book looks great, don't you agree? Like if the right person is in front of you with the right personality and the right book and the right experience, education's kind of and I'm a teacher, is the last thing I look at.
Yes.
To be honest with you.
Yep, I agree. So you can learn. I'm 34, and there are a ton of resources. I'm constantly learning stuff. So right here on Adobe Live, we have stuff for you all the time. Look at pro tips from Adobe Live, and that will be a lot of really curated content for you to understand how to become a designer a little bit more. So Manuel, that's our advice to you. Please hit us up. But it is time now for you to, this is Trey, not Manuel, right? Oh, is Manuel Trey? I'm so confused.
Wait.
Trey, are you Manuel? Oh my goodness. Anyway, whichever one, we are going to spin the magical wheel of magic. And chat, for that, I think that I have a full screen that we can use. Let me see. I do have a full screen. Here we go. So, Nick, how do we think we should break these up? Do we do maybe...
The greens and yellow are one, the blues are another, and the purples and reds are another.
Okay, so
does that make sense?
Yes, here's what we do. So Manuel, you are going to right now get your spin. Let's do that. The warm colors, like these four maybe, are going to be fonts. The cooler colors over here are going to be physical swag, and then over here is going to be whatever the other one is that I said, the zine. All right, so here we go. Let's give it a spin and see what you win. Wait, hold on, I do have a full screen. Let's do it. Here we go.
Here we go.
Yeah, full screen wheel. Here we go, chat. All right, so we're in. I think that this would count maybe as
the zine.
The zine. I think we'd call it the zine. So we'll get a copy of the zine out to you, Manuel. And here's how I want you to claim your zine. Send me a DM. Send me a DM at hawk.co. You can do that on Instagram. You can find us on Discord, or you can do that on Behance. Just send me a DM. I'll get the information, and we will get you a copy of the half-page zine created by Adobe Live. That's our Discord down there. Congratulations. Claps and chats. Yes. All right, so keep asking your questions over in the YouTube chat. We do have the Q&A open, so you can ask your questions there, or you can just put it in the chat over on YouTube. But Nick, let's hop back in. Let's talk some more about typography, and maybe we can show some demo about a brand new tool that just came to Illustrator.
Yeah. And I wanted to find something totally unique, so I looked up old newspaper clippings, because this happened the other day. I had a student kind of go like, hey, I had this font and I outlined it and I don't remember what it was. And I thought, I'm like, oh, he hasn't discovered Retype yet.
Yes.
So all this is, guys, is literally just a image. This is a raster image right from the internet. And I want to know what this font is. So we're going to go to type, and we're going to go to Retype beta. It's going to take a quick look there. Oh, wow. It's found something really quick. It went right to here. Now I can go to this and click for Lee, but it's the same thing, right? Look at this font. Wow. Oh my gosh. This one is literally almost it with
that's
with
really
the wood
close.
type, right? That's pretty incredible. That's unreal. So I'm going to download that. We've got that font now, and it's called American Shopworm, which is kind of cool.
Love
so
that.
now I have it. But notice, look, it's going into all the detail of this same exact image. So even here where it's got pianos, I can click on that as well. And it's looking at that. It's probably going to come up with some one or two that are in there as well. This is one of probably the best ones I've ever seen. Because let's face it, there have been alternatives to this in the past, but I do not believe anything has looked this good and has found the match just like that. So let's see what that was. What was it? American, let's see, get our type here. American. And let's see. Actually, let's try this again. Let's go here, go to Retype, and let's see what that was again. I think we downloaded it.
Yep.
Here we go.
Hey, Josie. Thanks for joining us. What's up?
Oh, HWT. Okay, cool. So escape here. HWT. Boom. So it got something totally close. The E really worked.
Yep.
on there, but you get something kind of unique and fun to start with. And I think this is one of those things where the combination of an app like this and having Adobe fonts to just be there, and you're not downloading anything, you're not syncing it and putting it into font book. Hasn't that been like the best just overall thing? Just Adobe fonts being so convenient and easy.
Yes, absolutely. And there is something that I'm currently looking at. I'm not fully confident. Nick, do you have when you use the retype feature, can you go back into the retype feature with that?
Yeah.
So can you,
here we go.
Okay. Can you click on one of those? Maybe that second one there.
Like,
here? On the right. Yeah. Right there.
Mondo.
And then click on the apply button.
Yes.
Right below.
Apply. Oh, that's where it actually takes it live, right? Stay with us. It's generating. I love the new prompts in Illustrator. Great. Stay with us.
Hold on.
We're generating desirable.
Hold my hand. Oh my! Keep looking at me. Look at me.
Everybody, join forces. It's doing something.
It just starts screaming.
There we go. So the progress bar is going. Yeah, this is what they showed live, which was 10 times better, right? There it is. There it is.
Okay, so if we look here, what it's done is it's actually applied that font there. And I believe, Nick,
there it is.
Can you click on that?
Oh my gosh.
Double click on it.
There we go.
There we go. So that is now live type. So Nick, you can change that. So if you put it back where it was and grab the type tool, you can literally just type now. There we go. Okay, cool. I'm really glad that was, I wasn't sure if that was released yet. I've known about that for a long time.
I mean, and it matched the spacing. Look at that. That's pretty wild.
It is an absolutely fantastic tool that if you're working on something, not only can you find the font, you can replace it and then start typing. This is in beta though. It's in beta, so it's still being worked on, but it is in the general release of Adobe Illustrator if you want to play around with it. Incredibly powerful to replace type with some editable type, which is really cool.
And you might find something that you actually like better because it knows what to look for and it's asking for all those characteristics when it's looking up the font. So you are opening up your entire kind of project or whatever you're working on into so many other fonts. I love it.
Yep. And Manuel is chiming in over in our YouTube chat, says, thanks, I won and I got encouragement. Let's go, double win for me. Yes, that's what we're here to do. On Office Hours, we're here to give you cool stuff and to help you have good advice and encourage you in your creative careers. So if you do have a question, again, we are doing some giveaways over on YouTube. If you want to submit your question, there's a Q&A open, or you can just drop your question into the YouTube chat. Behance, we didn't forget about you either. You also can submit by just submitting your question over here on YouTube or on Behance as well.
Yes, it should be El Longo, Trey. I get you.
So many chats. So many chats. All right. Nice. So, Nick, we do have some more stuff to take a look at. Let's hop back over to your screen and look at some Envelope Distort because it's so freaking fun.
This is great. And this is one of those ones when I think I realized it or someone showed it to me for the first time. I was like, when did this ever, I had no idea. Envelope Distort has a few different options. Let's look at it really quick. If you go into Object and Envelope Distort, you have Make with Warp, Make with Mesh, Make with Top Object. So first one I'm gonna do here is Top Object, okay? Sometimes you see text that looks like it's been morphed into a sphere and it has all of that effects to it as well. I just have Live Type right here. And on top, meaning just one layer above it, basically you can paste on top, paste like that, make sure it's arranged above it. I'm gonna select both. And you're going to go right over back here to Envelope Distort, and you're going to go Make with Top Image. And it literally takes it, pops it in there as well. And the coolest thing is, guys, it is still 100% editable because we have left it as that, and it is good to go. So that is a quick way you can do it as well.
And let me hop in real quick right there. So if you are playing around with that tool and using it to morph type into a shape, so let's do Hawk real quick. One, you can use a hotkey is you can select the top object here and select your type, and then it's Control-Alt-C is going to push that into the envelope. But let's say that these were the same size, right? That we're wanting to fill in a shape, and we try to just make it with that shape, right? It's going to fill in the whole thing, but I want some space around the edge. Here's the trick that I like to use is I'll double click into here, and then here's our type. What I'll do is I will grab just a circle or an ellipse and go to the center here, and then I will make an ellipse and I'll turn off the fill. So no fill, we turn off the fill. You can see that it's giving some extra space, and you can actually scale how much it's filling that by adding in another shape. If you want maybe some space on the top and bottom, you can go to Control Y is going to go to outline mode. And then again, you can just put in some little blank rectangles here, and that will give you a little more space on these edges so that it won't fill the whole way. So when I come back out, you see now we have some space on the edges. I can go in and I can change how much space we're getting on these edges if I pull these in. So really, really easy way to add some space and play around with that envelope distort by just adding in shapes that don't have a fill.
That's so interesting. I think it's one of those things you figure that out by just going, if I add little blocks with zero fill in it, it's going to give me that effect, right?
Yep, absolutely.
That's so cool. So let's say too, like you want to do like a perspective grid and you want to, or perspective stack. Think like a galaxy a long time ago, right? The kind of like forced perspective of Star Wars typography and the way that goes. One thing you do is I just have a simple box here that I've got there. I'm going to separate it with these two. So all I'm doing here is I'm doing a compound path, which is 8, and that command 8. Copy this, and I'm going to paste it right behind it like that. So you can see I got both. And all I have to do is go to our friend Pathfinder, and we basically say minus back. So now I've given myself these 3 little images here to go with, right? I can take these here, and let's say we want to zoom these. Let's go like that. Or what's the best way to do it? Would it be, I should have done it before that. Let's see.
Yes.
There we go. Wait, no. Let's see. Let's go here. All right, cool. I think it would be free transform, right?
I can't help you because I wasn't paying attention because I was trying to do something on my screen too. Yes, he got it. All right.
Cool. So we got the perspective in free transform here. We'll go to this guy and do the same thing. I love this effect because, like, to me, it is doing it by math rather than me dragging points, right?
Yes.
So I've got it all ready to go. These are completely together. So all I'm going to do is take the compound path off, or actually it's just group. So ungroup. And now what I can do is I can bring these over, and we'll bring these to the front so you can see what I'm doing. And we could try to match that whole idea by just getting these in here. We'll get ours in this, bring it to the front as well. And we'll get it here. Perfect. And then we'll take every Wednesday, because we are still on Wednesdays, and have that here. So now I'm going to take the grays, bring them to the top.
Yep.
Come on now. Give me that gray.
I believe in you. We're all rooting for you, Nick.
Oh, there we go.
You got this.
There's that. All right. We're going to ungroup. All right, cool. Gray, gray, gray to the front. And let's try it. We're going to hit these two. We'll go with our envelope distort with top image. Boom. These two. You could probably do it all together. I wonder if you could do it together.
You cannot. Maybe. You have to do each one individually.
There you go. On there and make with top. So we get that fun idea. This is great for social media. This is great for anytime you're doing something big and impactful and you want that added perspective. Super fun. What do you got?
Absolutely. So over here, I want to show you how to create. This is actually something that I learned from Adobe Live. Is you can create a really, really great pool kind of reflective effect. And Nick, you were working with a mesh, or sorry, an envelope distort with a top object.
You're going mesh?
Yes, so I'm going to do a mesh. So I'm going to select these lines that I have right here. And we are just going to go to, oh boy, we are going to go to object. No, we're going to go to effect. Oh no, object.
Oh no.
Envelope distort, make with mesh. That's what we want.
Oh yeah.
So we're gonna make it with mesh, and we have 4 and 4. I might want to increase these maybe to like 6 and 6. You can do as many as you need here, and then hit OK. Now all of these are individual anchor points, so I can use the direct selection tool to come in here and just start playing around with these. And you see you can create these really cool like little reflections. You also can change the anchor points here. and you can click and drag to really drag out these psychedelic kind of ripple effects. And you can do that on the type as well. So this is a great way to do kind of like reflections. I'm thinking it's, you know, looking at the bottom of a pool or something, and maybe this white goes down to like a 60%. There we go. That's looking a little more reflective of the bottom of a pool, right? And so then let's take our type here, and we can do something a little bit different with that. What I want to do is create this effect that kind of like zooms in. And so instead of doing it with an object, we can go to Object and go to Envelope Distort, Make with Mesh. And this time I'm going to do 2 and 2. So it's going to get me, actually, let's do 3 and 3. So I have a middle ground.
There you go.
So we're going to hit OK here. And what's really cool is you can grab the direct selection tool and grab like one of these rows, and then you can scale down just those anchor points. So I'm going to hit S for the scale tool, and we'll click and drag. And you can see it's just scaling back that piece of the type, right? So really, really great way to create some cool effects. And I'll do the same thing over here and bring it up. And then maybe I want to drag these out. So you can create some really great psychedelic and unique typography by using that technique. And we're just creating a mesh and then grabbing one piece of the mesh and pulling it up, pulling it back. You can create some great dimension like Nick did, but using scaling and using the mesh on that type. And the coolest thing is that if this was live type, which I didn't start with live type, but if it was, it would still be editable because we were just adding that effect on top of everything, which is really cool.
Don't you find this allows you to do stuff that may be out of your typical style? Like, I think just showing how you were moving that grid around, if you were to try to build that from scratch, you'd be there for hours, right?
Absolutely.
So I love the idea that any tool like that makes me a little less intimidated to try something, and you're gonna have success.
Yep. And we had a question from our friend Cynthia over in the YouTube chat right here. How do I download the Illustrator beta? That is a great question, and here's how you do it. Open up the Creative Cloud desktop app, and then you're gonna go into right down here, beta apps. And so clicking on beta apps, it's going to show you everything that is available to you. I don't keep beta apps on this computer because I have access to things that I can't show you. So you can get all of your beta apps right here, and everything that is available to you, you can see, you can test, you can play around with, and see maybe what's coming to the product, or maybe something that will never make it into Illustrator, but you get to test it and try it. So that's how you do it in the Creative Cloud app. You can just click on beta and it will show you everything that is available to you, which is really cool.
Nice.
All right, Nick, let's hop in and let's talk about some other stuff. And Biola says, you just gave me a great idea for something I've been struggling with. Well, let us know what it is. Biola, if you want to actually come on and talk to us, you can hop in the Discord. Let me know in the chat if you want to hop in the Discord. We'd love to hear what you're working on. Love to help you out. Love to like hear what's going on. So yeah, if you want to come on the Discord chat and talk with us about it, let me know in the chat and we will get you in there. Perfect. All right, Nick, let's keep going here while we figure that out. Let's talk about some other
we got some Envelope Distort. This is probably one of still one of the most surprising things that a lot of people don't realize, particularly in text effects. Envelope Distort and then Make with Warp. This is basically a whole new area to mess with, to distort, to do whatever. But in most cases, this is what people want. They want that arc. They want a perfect thing.
My favorite one is Rise.
Yeah. If you do them together, which is great too, it will work together as well. I'll show you really quick what I mean. If we have two here and we have another one even here like this, and maybe it's a little bit wider and a little bit fatter, this could be anything you have. If you do it all together, it will do it in such a uniform way, which is super, super nice. So let's get this here. I'm just going to do arc. Notice we have so much control. But now look at that. Everything is in a perfect kind of alignment and circumference. All that kind of stuff looks great. Yep. Now, you could go and hit it vertically or horizontally as well. I'm going to stick to the horizontal because here's where you can mess with it even more. You can go offset with your horizontal and you can go offset with the vertical as well. So again, you're creating some really cool effects here as well. Now, this is just one thing of many that you have here, because now I can go here, I can actually drop the bottom. You got arc lower, you got arc upper, you have arch, which actually keeps things a little parallel and kind of moves them. It's a little off because I have the vertical here, but if I get this back to 0, you can see all my verticals are still very much parallel to each other. So you've got all these. Here's flag. This is great as well. Don't go too crazy on some of these because you're going to get here and it's completely unreadable. But the idea here is you have full control. You can do this again. You could do it both styles, both horizontal and both vertical. Rise is the cool one. This is the one if you're doing like pendants or if you're doing anything that's kind of like a fun kind of excitement. I see this in sports a lot. This is like a really cool effect as well. But what I want to show you is if you're actually doing something unique and you want to try something fun, maybe this is great for like editorial or something cool. I've got 4 of these stacked together. We're going to go back here and we're going to do a little bit something fun here. We're going to go to make with warp. And again, I have it in flag. Now notice we can do it this way or this way. But there's something I like about this effect here where it's giving that whole idea of it feels like it goes great with the word I'm using. And I'm going to hit OK as well. Now, before I do that, I'm going to go backwards 1 step and just copy everything I have here. And then we'll bring it back. Now, with it in my clipboard, all I have to do is say paste to back. So I'm going to click on here and do Command B. And notice I have a new one back there. We're going to make this a totally different color. And I'm going to sway this or flag envelope distort this the other way. So notice it's connected, but now I've created almost what feels like, and what's good is you can go by the same percentage, right? Whatever percentage you added, it looks like that's about the same, maybe 20, maybe a little bit more there. And now notice what I've got this kind of cool, almost interactive thing. Imagine if you are doing even any kind of animation, this would be a fun place to start and mess with. So I really recommend Envelope Distort as one of the first tools. You've got mesh, you've got come to with the front object, and then you've also got this idea with warp and all those presets. So much fun to mess around with and have some fun with.
Yeah, and what's really cool is you can actually use it on shapes as well. So it's not just for type. You can do it on shapes. You can do it on type. You can do it on whatever. And it's fun to create stuff like this.
Yes.
You can kind of create this really cool effect of like stacked typography. My goodness. With shapes and kind of create that like vintage look really easily using those warps.
And I'm glad you mentioned that too, because so many times people are going to try to make this kind of thing like you just showed where you're doing like a cool little banner and they're going to curve the type and then they're going to try to curve the box to match it. No, do them both at the same time. It's so easy. You get right back on here. Let's go back to our arc. Oh, that's kind of fun. We'll go back to horizontal. So you can see it's bending it together. You never have to worry about anything being off. It's so,
absolutely. All right. So let's go ahead and do another giveaway. This one is going to be, we'll give it to Henrik because he reminded us. So Henrik, you are going to be our person right now. Henrik, where are you watching from is another question. Some of our physical goods we could only do to the continental US, but we will be able to figure out another use for that. So Henrik, you are going to be the person right now that we are spinning for. And guess what, chat? I actually found my Sharpie. Well, not my Sharpie. Sorry, my Expo dry erase pen.
Thank you.
So Nick, what digital goods or prizes can we do here? We definitely have the font pack. I'll write that on here.
We've got that. We could do the packaging guidelines handbook that we created.
Oh yes, okay.
That'd be a good one as well.
Yep. So let's do maybe a review. We can do like a portfolio review.
Yep.
And then I definitely want to put on here. What other digital goods do we have?
Oh, digital. Oh, good question.
I'll put the zine, and that way we can do that either way.
Maybe
and then
put mystery digital, and then we'll find out one.
And this will be the mystery prize that we'll figure out on the other side. All right, so chat, this one is for Henrik. Henrik, if you're still here, let me know. I'm not sure
on YouTube or on Behance.
Let's see. He was on both. Henrik, let me know.
That's dedication right there.
I know. And zines, yes, Christy, we have a zine. All right, chat, here we go. We're gonna go into our full screen. And look, we even have things on here. All right, here we go, chat. Let's see what Henrik wins.
Drum roll. It is going
It's a review. It is a review. So Henrik, if you would like to get some work reviewed, if you'd like some advice from us, we are now available to you. We can chat over email, get some reviews, get some advice on your work, help you kind of level up your portfolio. Congratulations. And as always, all I need you to do is just send me a DM right here at hawk.co. You can do it on Instagram. You can do it on Behance. Wherever you want to send me that DM, even on Discord, we will hook you up with a review of any of your work. Nick and I will give you some advice, give you some feedback on how you can level up your work. Congratulations.
Nick, man. Good job. Good job.
Yay.
Feels like old times here. We're just like game show hosts.
It's true. It really is. And a lot of people are asking about zines. So what I'm going to do, Nick, is I'm going to throw to you so you can show off some of these tricks. And then I'm going to go find some zines because I have them in my apartment. All right. I'll be right back, everyone.
So let's have some fun with paths and things like that. There are so many different things you can do here. If you have a unique type area, this is literally just a shape that's a little bit funky. And let's say you want type to fill that as well. When you go to type, you want to hit the area type tool. And all you're going to do is click on that. Notice I have something that is not really good. So we're going to go back to type and I'll find something nice and simple like this. And we'll make it like 12 point by 12 point. Let's do this again so you can see what it looks like. Click here. Let's get this over here. There we go. And let's get this here.
Nicholas, is there a fire alarm going off?
There is like nothing but construction outside all day today. My gosh.
Oh.
And it's always like right when it's ready for office hours. Here we go. Okay, cool. So there you are. So now you have this beautiful stuff. You can still justify either way. I think the left looks better here. Maybe even right looks good because it flushes it here. And if you have something like this is literally a shape with a cutout. So the circle is a compound path. It's not just grouped. It's actually like, consider it a cutout. The same idea goes here. If you have text on path, you basically take this guy here, text area, and we'll go right. Oh, why isn't this doing it? Is it clicking right on it?
All right, what are we trying to do?
Oh,
sorry, I'm back.
It can't be a compound path. Oh, so it doesn't work with that. That's where you have to use text around an image, right?
Area type?
Like, yeah.
Oh yeah, area type won't work with a compound path.
In the compound path.
Yes.
One last thing, and this was a new one. We're gonna struggle to find a use for this one of these days. But you actually have vertical type on a path. This is great. So watch this. This literally now. I think this kind of goes with the stuff you see like with what Spotify did with the text in kind of like that pipeline thing.
Oh, that's true. So, and this is very like Threads. Like Threads did this. Like this is the whole Threads brand.
That's really cool.
Okay, before the show, I literally was like, "There's not even a use case for this," and it's literally like the entire Threads brand.
Yeah. And if you've been with us for a while, you know we discovered this a few years ago, but there is a unique thing here called Touch Type tool.
Yes, we love Touch Type.
I'm using Zilker here. This is a favorite of ours from our buddy Matt Dawson. This is a cool one he designed. You literally click on this. This is live text, and now you have the ability to shrink. You have the ability to completely tilt and move around and have some fun with. So as you do this, you are still in live text. But what I love about this is it's that idea that, hey, you're not turning it into paths and you're not losing whatever that font is. And you're having all of this fun control. Now, when you're done, you can still go in there. You can get your cursor in between. And with Option on a Mac and your arrows, you can work with the letter spacing really easy like this, which is great.
We love a good hotkey.
It also works here the best too. When you have this remainder and you're trying to, let's say you've centered this and you still have this remainder area over there, you do the same thing. You pop your cursor right in that area with the option and the arrow. You're going to go like that until you get it right to the air. Now you're going to get a much more aligned center anytime you're doing it. Because you always have sometimes some of those fonts have those wild overhangs.
Yep.
Even when you have it on center. But thanks to the hoods, I remember they showed that off in Adobe Live, and I was like, how did I not know that is something we can do? So you have so much control with type, guys. This is the best.
It's really awesome. Fun. Yes. So that is the Touch Type tool. And we did have, we literally answered a question and then didn't spin. Cynthia is gonna get a spin because Cynthia asked a question.
Yes.
We answered the question about the beta tool. So you are gonna get a spin, Cynthia. Cynthia, are you in the continental US? Is the question for me. And then we will give you a spin. While we wait for that, chat, we are gonna do a little zine preview. So if you haven't seen, we created a zine with the Adobe Live community called the Half Page Zine. And in here we have art from the community, which is you. So there's a little letter. Actually, here, let me go full screen. So there is a nice little letter from the community there about someone who's starting out in their design career. Some favorite fonts from some of our friends on the Adobe Live broadcasts. We have a page about how to create your own brushes, as well as just a really cool little skeleton man.
Nice.
Over here, these are from you, chat. These are all prompts from Discord that are prompts for Adobe Firefly to create some really cool stuff. We also, hold please, we got it. There's a poem here by our friend Kelly Ayat, and the poem is paired with generations from Firefly in the background. So a little poem with some imagery. We got a little doodle with me with our friend Jordan Ayat, one of my favorite illustrators, probably my favorite illustrator. He's just so fun. And then we got some photos by our friend Raymond Alva, big fan of the show. This receipt is some quotes from Amy and Jen Hood about toxic traits that designers have. And then we finish out with this cute little piece by Emily Poulin. So if you want to submit for the next issue, you can go right there, halfpagezine@gmail.com. Just do whatever you want on an 8.5 by 5.5. And you can send it to me at halfpagezine.com to be considered for the next issue, which should be coming out in just about a month, which will be the next issue we'll do.
Nice, man.
All right. So Cynthia has not responded, but Cynthia, that's fine. We are going to do a spin for you. So here we go. Nick.
Yes.
Do we do the same ones? I think we do the same ones, right?
Yeah, might as well.
All right. Might as well. Here we go. Let's go back to full screen studio. We are going to see what you win on your spin. All right. So this is for Cynthia. We've got review. We've got fonts. We've got the mystery prize and a zine. Here we go. Let's spin. Good luck. Ooh, good spin, good spin. It's a font pack. You won some fonts. Congratulations, Cynthia. Again, as always, just send me a DM, hawk.co. I will send you a direct link to my font pack. There are 5 display fonts in there that you can use for whatever you want. So congratulations on your big win. And thanks for joining us and hanging out here on Office Hour. So we do have one more thing. We got about 4 minutes. And this is the thing that I've been waiting for because Nick showed me before the stream. And I was like, how do you do that? And he's like, you'll have to wait. So I am currently just watching Office Hours. Here, let's do this. I'm not even going to be a host right now. There we go. I'm just a viewer, chat. I'm here with you.
There we go. Okay, guys, I saw this and I thought, how do we replicate this idea? It's not only a blend, but notice less and less of the actual type is being seen as it goes. So we figured it out. Let's do this. I have 2 sets here. These are live type and I have them in a black box. Okay, so they're just like that. You get both of these together. And what you're going to do is you're going to go to the blend tool and we're going to do blend options. And I want 20. Let's do 20 steps as well there. Okay. Go up here. We'll go back to blend and we'll do make. And notice we get this. This looks good. It's kind of working. But how we get that effect is really interesting. You go over here to where your pen tool is and there's the anchor point tool. This looks like the little upside down V. When you're here, you're going to grab these little guys here, these anchors, and look at this. You're actually affecting the gradient and it's live. I mean, you could like have some wild fun with this. This is awesome. So I'm going to get it. I'm holding the shift key down. I get this kind of perfect little thing where it eats away at the font a little bit more, but let's look at it on black and see how it looks. So there you go. And now if you want, you can basically do a duplicate and I'm going to let's see, we're going to reflect it this way and reflect it this way. There we go. And we'll put it maybe right there. And we get this super cool idea. It kind of looks like it's going backwards a little bit on that one too. But isn't this the coolest little feature to figure out that you can get in there with this weird tool? And from any point here, I can move this around. We can even look at how it's bending it. Pretty sick.
Yep. So I'm going to expand on that actually. Oh, hold on. I need to come back. Sorry. Andrew's back in. All right, I'm here. So I'm gonna expand on that a little bit. You actually can do that, and you can put it on a different line. So we're gonna do this. I'm gonna create my blend here. With just, I used a hotkey. Control Alt B is the hotkey for that. And we're gonna create the blend here, and I'm just gonna blend this into like 2 different colors. So we're gonna have a black, we're gonna have a yellow, maybe blue and yellow. All right, so we've created this, and we have like this shape. It doesn't look great. I want to put it kind of on a different line. So I'm just going to grab my brush tool, and we're going to create a nice little line right here. So now all I need to do is select these 2. So I'm going to select my type, the blend, as well as this little piece right here on the brush tool. We're going to go to Object, Blend, and we're going to click on Replace Spine, and watch what happens.
Nice.
So it will replace to go onto that path. And just like Nick showed, you can augment that path right there if you want to, and really play around with what your blend looks like. So you can do...
that is so cool.
It's really cool. So yeah, you can do it. I actually really liked how you did it, kind of moving things up and down. But you also can change it. So if you have a specific path you need it to be on, it will blend onto that path, which is really cool.
Yeah.
So this is
that highlight of the light yellow in the back of the A is still there, like at the very top right. That's so cool,
right there.
Yeah.
And so if we wanted to, you also can change the colors here. So you can change it if you
nice.
If you want to, you can change the colors. That looks really good. You could add a stroke here. If you add a stroke, it's going to put that stroke on everything, so you get this cool like word art effect. I am not mad about that stroke. That's kind of vibey. Oh, that's so cool. Okay, so yes, you can play around with all of those things. You also can select with the direct selection tool and send it to the back, and then it will reverse that. So it just changes how it's replicating itself. That's really cool. I'm not mad about that at all.
In a lot of these ways.
All by accident, yes.
It's the best. And if you're not experimenting with all this stuff and finding, like when you open a dialog box and there's a few other things you've never click
all of them. Yes.
Right?
Perfect. So thanks for joining us. This was our type episode. Come back next week. We will be hanging out with you doing something very special. We are doing a pixel potluck, which means that we're all going to bring in assets for us to share together. So we can create some vectors, we can create some images for the holidays. Whatever we want to do, we're going to do it together, and we are going to have a great time. So come back. Again, if you won one of our giveaways today, I do need you to send me a DM over on Instagram, right here on Behance, or on Discord at hawk.co. Send me a DM. I'll hook you up with your prize. And thanks so much for joining us, everybody. Bye.
See ya.